Hi there, welcome to No Nonsense Whiskey. My name's VinPF, and on today's episode we're going to be continuing the trend of the week, if you caught my video on Monday, of looking at some Welsh Whisky. Now on Monday we had a look at a distillery that hasn't got some whisky out there yet. Today we're looking at another distillery that does have some whisky out there, and this is the Aber, and this specifically is the Autumn 2021 release. Now before we get into the actual review of this, I should say that this is the second release of this. The first release, the inaugural release, was at 46% and was reviewed very well. And I've seen some comments about this second release not being as good. But it's important to note at the start that this is a 40% release. I don't know about things about like added colour, non-chill filtration that usually come along with 40%. Don't know about that, so we're not going to comment on that too much today. But yeah, it's definitely important to know that I didn't try the inaugural release at all. I've just come into this one itself. Now I picked this one up on a bit of a random actually. I didn't kind of set out to pick it up. I didn't really know that it was a thing until I saw it in a supermarket. I was actually on holiday. If you watched my video on Monday, you'll know this already. I was on holiday in Pembrokeshire a couple of weeks ago. And while I was there, I took two premium bottles of whiskey with me, and they were going down a bit quick. So when I went into the local Tesco's, I had a look at their whiskey selection to see if there was anything I could pick up for cheap, so that I didn't destroy my really nice two bottles very quickly. This is the quintessential search for a guard whiskey. Of course, you all know about guard whiskey now if you've been watching the channel. And I saw this, Aber Welsh Whisky. I thought, yeah, why not? I'm in the area, must try. Then I saw the price tag, £26. Little tap on the mic there. £26. Absolutely nothing. An absolute snippet. You know, it's probably, 10 or so more than the really baseline blends. And you very rarely see like anything interesting or new for that sort of price. You can get some classics like that. You can get the Aber 10-year-old or something like that, which is like a classic supermarket whiskey that always goes down to about sort of 20 quid, 25 quid. But something brand new for 26 quid. Well, of course, having the channel and whatnot, it is a no-brainer to me to pick that up. If it wasn't any good, then no harm, no foul. I would review it and move on. So then the holiday ensued, and you can see what I've got left for my review. Spoiler alert for the end of the video, I really like this. I'm very surprised by it indeed. So Aber Distillery itself is North Wales. It's just north of the Snowdonia National Park. So if you're ever in that area, or if you're over down the Anglesey, that's sort of like Bangor is the nearest big town, I think. It's in a village, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce it because I'll just massacre it. But it's one of those kind of typically long, lots of consonants instead of vowels kind of names. If I remember, I might throw it up, but it'll definitely be in the description below. So that's where it is. It's about sort of maybe 3 hours away from me in the Midlands right now, but unfortunately I didn't get a chance to go and visit while I was in Wales because it was still just too far. So they're up in North Wales, and I guess what they're trying to do is produce something that's no one else is really doing right now. A lot of brand new distilleries are putting out kind of extra premium stuff. They're putting extra effort into the casks and making a almost super premium whiskey so that they can charge 50 quid and above on it. So this one seems to be breaking that mold a little bit, interestingly. Now it's a mixture of 4 cask types. They've got Oloroso sherry, Pedro Jimenez sherry, they've got ex-bourbon casks, and they've got new oak in there in the mix as well. So lots of good things that we like about this. Just a couple of things like the 40% of stuff that would ordinarily put somebody off. Let's get into the nose then and see what we've got, shall we, in the glass. As I mentioned earlier, I'm not going to comment on colour and whatnot, but you can see what we got. It may well be added colour, it may well not be. Somebody, hopefully from the distillery, will drop a comment below, or some such. I don't know. Let's have a look on the nose and see what we've got. Okay, so it's a very interesting nose, I have to say. It's got way more depth than I would give it for a 40%er. Lots of vanillas, lots of caramels, things that we would normally expect to get. Added layer of kind of citrusy, lemony vibes coming on there. And those kind of dried fruits that you'd expect to get from a sherried whiskey are also there. Not overly heavy, this is a very light and floral nose for sure. And some kind of biscuity elements at the back end as well. let's have a go on the palate. Okay, so it does have that kind of low viscosity that you would expect to get from a 40% whiskey, but it almost like doesn't taste watery. Like sometimes I get that when I try kind of really mashed 40% whiskey that's just been, you know, chill filtrated to the end of its earth and stuff like that, and I'm not getting that here. It is light and floral, as I said earlier. Let's have another quick sip. But here's where it gets interesting. More dried fruits, raisins, sultanas. For me, it's got this weird back end of like, I want to say blackberry or something like that. Some kind of, you know, like kind of hedgerow fruity vibe to it anyway. Finish isn't overly long, isn't overly complex, but is kind of sweet and bright enough to make me want to drink a little bit more of it, as you can see from the bottle. Okay, so all good things, I have to say. Now again, as I mentioned at the start, I didn't try the first one, and I also said earlier that you know, people have obviously compared the first one to this one. Don't know what the price of the first one was, missed it entirely. I imagine on auction now it's probably going for a tidy penny, but yeah, to have this in front of me for 26 GBP, £26 is astounding, I have to say. You know, yes, it's 40%. Yes, it's no age statement. Yes, it's probably added colour and chill filter. It doesn't say it on the literature anywhere, so you have to assume it probably is. You know, these are all things that I would typically ignore, typically pass over. But if there's one thing I can impress on you from this video today, is that if you see this, I mean, don't spend horrendous amounts of money trying to get it shipped to your country or whatnot. But if you see this in your supermarket, or have a look on Master of Malt, it's £26 of Master of Malt shipped across the UK and probably worldwide. You know, like I said, don't go into any special efforts. You know, if you're looking for something to get you over that £100 and you've got 3 things in your basket already, then go ahead. But I would actually implore you to get this, because I don't say that often enough. You know, usually I just give my tasting notes and try to keep my own personal opinion out of it. But I have to say, what they've created here is really quite clever. It's, you know, I'll say it again, it's 26 quid. You know, for me, you know, I'm at a level now where I like to think I buy things around that kind of £40-50 mark, maybe above. I'm looking for those super premium whiskies. This is something that you know, if you'd just give me the numbers and I wasn't on holiday and said, Wales have just released a whiskey, it's 40%, you know, pay £5 extra shipping and get it shipped to your house, I'd be like, nah, not really that interested. But I'm very glad that I picked this up in a supermarket, and I'm very glad I spent £26 on it. So I don't think I can enthuse about it any more than that. Definitely go and check them out. Definitely give it a go. Even if you tried the other one, try to judge this one in its own little category rather than against something that's obviously clearly superior. You know, their inaugural release is going to be good. But try to judge this as it is. And, you know, in terms of guard whiskey, it's a perfect one. An absolute perfect guard whiskey. This is not going to last long in this house, and I'm going to need another one pretty soon.